Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today. I just want to do a couple of sound checks and just a hello, just to see how everybody's doing. Can you guys just send over a yes or a wave? I don't know if that's a possibility. Awesome. All right. I'm seeing that Noel says yes. Oh, great. I'm so happy you guys are here. Thank you so very much. I would love to know, where are you guys all from? Because I mean, that's the beauty of trading, right? Is that everybody comes from all over the world. Oregon, DC, nice. I lived in Colorado for a while. I lived in Summit County in Breckenridge area. El Salvador, Sarbilo, I think, or Jaime. I live in Guatemala. How cool is that? And Larry, DC, my brother lives in DC. Germany, nice. Wow, this is awesome. Canada. Yeah, Jaime, I live in Guatemala, in Antigua. I've been to El Salvador several times. I've been to El Tunco, Suchito, right? Is that the word? El Sucho. Oh my God, I can't remember that beautiful little town. Oh, you're in Steamboat. Nice. Steamboat is beautiful. I've been to Steamboat. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Canada. This is great. I love pupusas, and they actually have pupusas here. They make really good ones in Guatemala because there's a lot of people from El Salvador. And my sister-in-law one time hired a pupusa lady to come for her birthday, so it was yummy with the cabbage and the red sauce. Yes, it's beautiful. Florida, Harvey, where in Florida are you from? Because my parents have a place in West Palm Beach. We visit there quite often. And Steven, Cincinnati, awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. I really, really, really am excited to present for you guys. I don't actually do many presentations, so this is kind of a cool thing to do. So I am here. I would love, the whole purpose is for you guys to get as much as possible out of our chat today, my presentation. So I will be doing a presentation, obviously, but I love questions, and the more questions you send me, the more I am able to help you, and we will get to the live market later on as well. Oh, I've never been to Amalia Island. I heard that it is absolutely beautiful. I've been to almost all of Florida except for there. I don't know why that is. All right, a second. Let me just get everything ready here. Oops. Okay, hang on a second, guys. I'm just moving things around. There we go. All right, so I am gonna jump right in and let's begin. Like I said, questions are always welcome and I will get to all of them for sure. All right, so there we go. Today, I'm going to be talking about understanding market language to spot high probability trades with live market analysis. And just a quick intro, I'm Marina, the trader chick. That's me. That's one of my boys. And this is my family. I am an expat. I live in Antigua, Guatemala. I've been here for almost 11 years, but in Central America for almost 20. So we live in Antigua, Guatemala, and I am trilingual. So I'm actually a refugee from the Soviet Union. And if any of you know our beautiful hostess, Anna, I was actually born in the Ukraine, and Anna is from the Ukraine. I was born in Odessa. And interestingly enough, I was supposed to be there last month for me and my mom to come back and visit and meet Anna. But unfortunately, you know, the pandemic is kind of in the way. We've got like a massive travel ban going on where I live. So we can't even travel. Our airports have been closed for the past 4 months entirely. But back to being trilingual. I am trilingual. I speak Russian fluently, but I moved to the United States when I was 6 years old. So English is my real language because I was raised through the English, you know, speaking society, but I speak Russian fluently as well. And I have been living in Central America for almost 20 years now, We lived in Costa Rica before, and now we've been living in Guatemala for the past 11 years. So Spanish is definitely my other language. I'm fluent in it. It's not my most, easiest language to speak, but I'm definitely fluent. I could easily hold up a conversation. And you speak a language fluently when you can make a joke. And this was something that another foreigner told me. They're like, I knew that I was able to actually speak Spanish when I could finally make a joke. And I realized that was the same for me, because when I finally was able to joke and people got it, especially in a group, I was like, okay, I know that I could speak it, because I'm a really funny person, but if you don't understand and you can't communicate, it's really hard to get your personality across. So we're also really big travelers. Travel for me is not a luxury, it's a necessity. And honestly, like, we travel 3 to 4 months out of the year, and being a day trader really, really makes it possible, because you could trade from anywhere in the world. And this is, we went to Spain, and I was able to open up my laptop and just trade for a couple hours anywhere. It was awesome. And whenever I travel to the States, we travel all around Central America. It's great. Before I was a day trader, I was actually a fitness instructor and a travel writer. I grew up in New York, and after university, I came back to New York, and I was a fitness instructor in the Manhattan gyms. I was like, pretty cool. It was really fun experience. And then when I moved to Costa Rica after getting married, I started to do a travel site, which I did not realize was going to become basically my business for, well, I still have it, actually. This is it. Before I became a day trader, that's what I was doing, and I still am doing it. You can still go and check it out. And I day trade. I actually do multiple things because I love to do multiple interests, and with day trading, you could do that, and that's kind of the coolest thing of all. So today I'm going to be talking a lot about the basics of day trading, because I am a huge believer that if all else fails, and when in doubt, get back to the basics. Because interestingly enough, a lot of times we overlook the basics, and the basics could be the ticket for us becoming successful pretty much in anything we do. All right, so do I wear a fedora? That's not a fedora. It's actually a cowboy hat. And I love my cowboy hats. I do. I have several of them. It's one of my, I'm not a cowgirl by any means, but I just think they're really fun. All right. So let's get to the basics. This is something that I really, really focus on. And even if you're a seasoned trader, just the fact that even when you find out about the basics, you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's right. I never even noticed this. And it can literally change your entire game. Okay, so we're going to start by learning the 4 basic strategies, which is really to understand what the market is telling us. And one thing I noticed when about being trilingual is I learned my 3rd language later on in years. I was in my late 20s when I learned Spanish. And when you learn a new language, especially in your later years, it's a process. It's a big process. It took me, everything that people were saying to me had to be said slowly. I had to process everything in my brain. I had to translate every single word, what they're saying, to understand. And then when I wanted to speak, I had to first say it in English in my head and then translate it in my brain. So it was a long process. So I had a lot of really patient people. However, but I was determined. I really wanted to speak Spanish. I think it's one of the most beautiful languages out there. I was determined. And finally, one day, after about a year, I woke up and I just got it. Meaning, I didn't have to translate anything. When somebody spoke to me, I just got it. When I wanted to speak, I just got it. And it became an easy process. Now I could hang out in a group of Spanish-speaking people. I don't have to worry about them going too fast because I could pretty much keep up. I'm still not 100% fluent, but I got it. And one thing when I started to trade, and I had a lot of struggle when I first began day trading, I could not understand what the market was saying. Like, I couldn't fully listen to it and read it and be able to understand it. And when I realized that the market actually spoke to us and I started to see that language, everything changed for me. Before I was looking, I spent over $20,000 on my education. I am not exaggerating. I am definitely not proud of it. I've done it all, you know, conferences, one-on-ones, academies, the works, summits, but it was always somebody else's strategy. I was always looking for somebody else's method without really understanding what it was happening. And then I was in all these trade rooms, and oh my God, the amount of money I spent in trade rooms, not only the membership, but the amount of money I lost in the trade rooms because I was constantly following somebody else's. Oh, they were saying, oh my God, there's a trade. And I was like, I don't really understand why, but if they're saying it's a trade, I'm getting into that trade. And I'm sure we've all been there, right? And then when you get into that trade, it's too late. You either chase it, but you don't get it. And that's when after like losing all this money, it was almost 2 years of struggle, I had to actually completely step away. And when I came back, I said to myself, I'm just going to strip the charts entirely. I had 3 charts going on. I had over 10 indicators. I came back, I stripped my charts, and I just started to look at the price action. And that's when I started to realize that the market actually talks to us. It has words. And if we listen to it, we can work with it, because you will never be able to beat it or predict what the market ever says, ever. It's just not a possibility, right? We are individual retail traders. We can never move the market, but what we can do is we can work with the market. And that's kind of what it is. It's the basic strategies, the basic language of the market. It's just like getting in a car. When you guys first got into your car, the very first time when you first started to learn it, everything was so foreign, right? You didn't even know where the accelerator button was, the pedal. You didn't know where the brakes were. You didn't know about the steering wheel. There's so many things that you just did not know, right? I can guarantee you today, you get in and it's not even like a consideration. You just know. It's automatic. And it could be the same way with the market. Some things could be just automatic. I always get people telling me, you know what, oh my God, I can't believe how patient you are, how disciplined you are. But when you have a strategy that is rock solid, it's kind of getting into your car, not putting on your seatbelt and kind of going as a kamikaze, right? You will put your seatbelt on, but even worse, it's when you see a red light, you know, when you're driving that it's not going to go. Like, that's the strategy of driving. You know that there's a red light, and if you skip that red light, you're going to either be pulled over by a cop, or secondly, you're going to hit somebody and it's going to be 100% your fault, right? So you don't question it. So when you have a rock solid strategy with the market, it's not about, oh my God, you're so patient and disciplined to stay out. Well, no, it's a red light, right? And a lot of times traders, especially beginner traders, we forget the most important 3 positions in trading. 1, knowing when to get into a trade. Absolutely, that is super important. And it's really important knowing when to get out of that trade, either after hitting that target or being stopped out. But we also overlook probably the most important position, and that's knowing when to stay out entirely. And knowing when to stay out will save you more money than you will ever win, because you will end up losing it all if you don't know when to stay out. So that is what we're going to be talking about today, is the basics and understanding that. And once you get that, it will be the biggest game changer. And that I definitely know. Okay, so before I move on, let me just see if there's any other questions. I think we are good. There's no questions here either. All right, great. So us traders, we're like artists, right? If we don't have a chart, it's like an artist not having a canvas. You need to have a good, solid charting software. I personally use Ninjatrader. I am not affiliated with Ninjatrader, but that's just the one that I prefer. I know that many traders use Thinkorswim, Sierra Charts, Metadata. I mean, the list goes on, right? TradeStation. As long as you have a good charting platform, you can trade anywhere. So like I mentioned before, when I came back after all those struggles, I ended up removing all of my indicators, and now I'm down to 2 indicators. So I use, you will see, and I'll go into it a little bit more, especially in the live market, my 3 indicators, which is, my 2 indicators, which is 3 EMA lines. The EMA lines are the exponential moving average lines, and the bottom with the red dots that you're seeing, that's the MACDs right here. So I'm going to show you, oops, hang on a second here. So I use my thick line, which you'll be seeing as my main indicator. It is the 52 period EMA line. So here's a better view of all of my indicators. I use these 3 indicators. That is what I use to gauge where the shift in momentums are and also where to take my trades from. And I use the MACDs because to me, the MACDs are the least lagging indicator in the market. I think they are great because they're telling us when weakness happens way before it happens. So I also want to show you really fast. I use the tick chart. I use a 600 and tick chart. So what are tick charts? I know that a lot of people use time frames. I do not, because when you're sitting in a 1 minute or a 5 minute time frame, you need another indicator, and the more indicators you have, the more confusion it could actually be rather than be helpful. So you need to know the volume, because if there's no volatility, if there's no real movement, do you really want to be in it? No, it's slow. The chance of it being indecisive is even higher. So a tick chart is, as you can see, each bar. Oops, hang on a second here. Oh, forget it. There we go. There we go. Each bar has this little ball. It doesn't have to be this ball. It could be candlesticks, but each bar has 610 ticks. That means that at 610 transactions, we see in live time how much volume is going on. And when we go live, when I'm going to show you my live charts, I'll show you how it works for our favor. So you don't have to be guessing when you're sitting in that 1 minute or 5 minute chart time frame. Oh my God, is there a lot of volume? Even the volume indicator is still a little bit lagging. It's not in real time as tick charts can be. That's why I really like tick charts. Okay, so like I said here's the MACDs, and we will be talking a lot about divergences and reversals because to me, that is the absolute golden signs. So I have a gift for you guys. It's completely free, and pretty much the entire presentation and everything I literally use for my trading, as I call it, like the cheat sheet. I'm giving that to you for free, guys, right now. You could go to makingofadaytrader.com and you could download it right away. So makingofadaytrader.com. All right, let's begin with the most basic understanding of the market, and that's market movement. It's basically the trend. It's breaking down of a trend. So we all know that there are 3 trends. I mean, it's obvious, we know that. So basically, we know logistically there's 3, right? We have 1, the uptrend. Obviously, the uptrend, we know that it's when each pivot goes higher than the other. Then we have the downtrend. It's when it's headed down. And just so you guys know, day trading, especially intraday trading, you can make as much money going short as you can go long. I do not sit and look for anything that is only long. I look for both, whatever is the technicals are telling me. And for day trading, that's fantastic. Obviously for buy and hold investors, not really ideal, but that's a whole other thing, right? We day trade to be able to invest. And then we have the sideways market. And this I call literally the trader's worst enemy, because the majority of the money that we make in an uptrend or a downtrend pretty much gets given back, and sometimes even more when we are stuck in a sideways trend. And it has nothing to do with the fact that it's a sideways trend as much as it is a mental thing. And we all know day trading is more mental than anything else. I say that I could teach anybody to trade, but your mind, that's something that you're going to have to train. However, when you have a strong strategy and you have strong rituals and I guess preparation and habits, that's how you avoid making the wrong decisions, right? They always say like the most successful people in the world, they're not successful because they're born successful. They're successful because of their rituals, their structure, their preparation, and their habits. And if you understand that, you'll be able to stay out of that as well. Your mind won't be playing the same tricks on you. I will get into it a little bit more, explaining how our mind plays tricks on us. So just another quick review. Trending markets. Going down, it's when obviously each pivot is lower than the other pivot. Trending up, it's when each pivot is up higher than the other pivot. And sideways market is pretty much when each pivot is pretty much is hitting each other, right? So this is what an uptrend looks like. Uptrend is also called a bull market, trending market, going up. It's when you're going for the longs, right? When we're looking to go long or we're buying, whatever you want to call it, that's what we're looking for when the market is trending, okay? Now, when we're headed down, downtrend, it's when we're going to be looking for a short position or a selling. That means we're selling or looking for selling for a higher price to get out at a lower price. That is a short position, right? We're shorting the market. It's when the market, we're banking that the market is going to continue going down, right? It's also called a bear market, market going down, trending down, whatever you want to call it. It's semantics. The bottom line, what it is, it's trending down. That's all we need to know. And when we have that trend, we want to work with the trend, but we also want to be aware and be really, really alert when it's about to change, because the last thing we want to do is be on the wrong side of the trend. Now, I personally am a scalper. So I don't know if any of you guys know what scalping is. I go in for very small profits, quick, rapid profits. That means that I really enjoy micro trends on top of that. So the way I look at it is we have the overall momentum, which is what the market is doing overall. But if there's an immediate momentum, which is basically a deeper retracement or a deeper correction, sometimes they will be really awesome mini trends that I could also really monetize on. So understanding the difference of overall and immediate momentum is really important, especially for the way I like to trade, which is scalping, really quick moves. I mean, my trades don't last more than 3 to 5 minutes at this point, especially with the market lately, right? All right, consolidation areas. Oops. Transition areas, or like I like to call them, the trader's worst enemy, and learn how to spot them and how to avoid them. So before I move on, let me just do a quick look here. Okay, Jaime, it's a better to enter a short position in the crossing lines. Cal, I just explained that I don't use a time frame. I use a 6-10 tick chart. They are not time frames. Jaime, that is a very loaded question. It's kind of like asking a surgeon about, if they're about to operate on the knee. There's so many things going on, and you're saying, okay, should I just cut that part? There's so much to it, and that's why trading can't just be done by everybody, because there's a lot to it. So hopefully you'll be able to understand as we go along a little bit better. So consolidation areas, transition areas. What are they? Indecision areas, sideways markets, channels. I don't care what you call them. They're all pretty much the same. But the point is, they are the trader's worst enemy. Now, why is that? I'm going to explain this to you guys in total layman's terms so you really understand the concept and why our mind plays tricks on this. So first, before we do that, what is a consolidation area? Is where all pivots are hitting each other, right? All pivots right here, and we have areas, which I'm going to explain in a little bit, support and resistance areas. If you guys don't know what support and resistance areas are, it's kind of like getting into a car and not knowing where your accelerator and your brake pedals are. That's how important that is. So I want to explain to you why these areas literally take back almost all of our winnings and maybe even more, because it's a mental thing. Here's the deal. A lot of people are, trend is your friend, they trade the trend, and when the trend is your friend, it's all good, right? However, the trend does not stay your friend all the time. The trend will shift, the trend will pause, it will go into indecision area, it will take a break. So what happens a lot of times, especially with people who are, the trend is your friend type of a trader. So, because I personally am a contrarian trader, I am always looking for those corrections. I'm always saying, well, the market's going in this direction so long, it's got to correct. The trend is your friend type of a person says, you know what, the market's been trending this way the whole time, it's going to continue in that trend. So what happens when we have an indecision area here in particular is the market has been headed upward, and now it starts to go into indecision. So this is when your mind starts to take over. The trend is your friend type of trader is like, you know what, the market is going to continue. I'm going in for a long. It's going to continue. It's, because it's been going that way the whole time. Or somebody like me, a contrarian, and be like, you know what, the market's been going in that direction too long, it's got to correct, it's got to do a correction. So I'm looking for that short. Here's the deal, people. The market doesn't have to do anything at all. It's going to do what it's going to do. So the only thing we as traders are going to do is we're going to listen to it and we're going to understand what it's telling us. And right now, when it's in a sideways market, it's telling us to stay out. Remember I mentioned 3 different positions? One position, know when to get in, know when to get out, and know when to stay out. And when we're starting to see the sideways markets, we need to stay out. It is not a story that we're going to tell ourselves, oh, the market's been doing this, the market, who cares what the market's been doing? The market is doing this right now. And that's all we have to follow and understand. So, oh, hang on a second here. Where am I? Right. So, okay, so the market could do this many different ways. It could do it in small consolidation areas. And like I said to you, I personally am a small target trader. So each target I go for is one little box. So if I was doing my contrarian thing and saying I got to go in for that long, I might have gotten in, but I might not have. I also could have been stopped out because I am going for the small targets. I don't want to risk it. This is an indecision area. This is a slowdown, and I need to sit down and wait until my market is telling me otherwise. And I do that by watching reversals and divergences. Oops. Okay. So here we go again. This is what consolidation areas will look like. And sometimes the retracements are larger, but sometimes they're not. And when you have these areas outlined, you'll know also what to look for. And you're looking for those awesome breakouts or complete shift in direction. Okay. So sideways markets, they will take your money because here we go. Here is a pretty significant sideways market. If you guys have it drawn out and really under this is a sideways market, and it could be very indecisive, it could be very choppy, you can end up losing all of your money. And what happens when you make one bad decision? Not because it's understandable if you make one valid decision, you get in without knowing that it's a sideways market yet. But what happens when you start to make bad decisions? And you know when you're making those bad decisions, you get into the revenge trading mode, right? If any of you are denying that, then you're denying a lot more to yourselves. The reality is we all go into revenge trading, and that is emotional trading. And that takes us out of all the validity of each trade, and our strategy goes up in air, right? So we have to understand that one trade and it gets stopped out and we lose, and then we have to sit back and like, why is that? What happened here? And then if we understand that it's a sideways market, we need to also understand that it's time to sit out entirely. How do we start to even identify these areas? Well, the thing is, it's called the market respects them, and so do we. Market respects areas, and that is something that it does, and you could go back and look at all your charts in the past, and you'll see that the market respects them. And how do we know what those areas are? Through support and through resistance. If we don't know support and resistance areas, we will never be able to have that seatbelt on when it's time for us to slow down and we could get into a massive accident. All right, so what are support and resistance areas? They literally are the areas that show us those consolidations, those channels, those sideways markets. Again, however you want to call it, that's what they're doing, right? These are what support and resistance areas are, is we put them on our pivots. Now, to get really into it, what is a resistance area? Resistance area is the ceiling of a market. If you are headed up and all of a sudden your pivots are starting to hit on top, that is your resistance area. Okay, if it stops the market entirely, that means it's a pretty strong resistance area. But again, we don't know if it's going to do that. It could very well just break through and give us a breakout. All we have to know is that when it is happening. And this is what a resistance area looks like. It's the ceiling. Okay, it's the ceiling of the market. It could also be a ceiling of a channel, but it's still the ceiling. What is a support area? It's the floor of the market. It's where the pivots are hitting over and over and over again. And if you have it identified, and when the market returns back to this area, which it usually does, you are prepared and you know that this is how it works, right? Support area. It's when it can definitely stop the market. However, it could also just be a huge pause, and then we want to look for those breakouts. okay, support area. So this is what a channel looks like. We have that resistance and support area drawn in. We know those areas. We do not want to get anywhere near those areas. They are, for me, untradeable channels, these sideways markets, because look how ugly it is. There's no fluid movement here, right? Do you really want to be inside a market that does not have much direction, that is in a lot of doubtful way? Not really, right? Sideways markets that are a little bit wider, they could actually be a little bit better, especially if you're a scalper for trading. But again, you have to understand, how wide is it? Is it moving in a fluid motion? Because this, again, is pretty erratic. It's not really moving very well. And you have to understand that, right? And that happens with a lot of practice and time. All right, so areas get revisited, and that's understandable. Look at this strong support area. It's been revisited several times. Actually, I have, these are day breaks, 3 days pretty much. And when it did revisit these areas, it bounced off and headed in a new direction. So if you have your those areas identified, you're not going to be in shock when you're seeing that. You're going to be like, oh, you know what? The market respected that area. All right, so before we move on, let me see if you guys have any questions. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if this is recorded. I'm pretty sure it is. Usually all of these are recorded. Okay, guys. So how do we even identify these areas when they're first beginning? And this is the secret. Honestly, this is it. This is literally what I call the trader's map to shift in direction and the trend. Double top, triple tops, bottoms, head and shoulders, reverse patterns, and when they're with divergence, they are a golden sign and probably the most powerful language of the market. All right, so what are reversal patterns? I'm sure you guys have heard of double tops, triple tops, head and shoulders. These areas are telling us they are not 100%, but they are very strong indicators that the market is starting to slow down, that it is going into an indecision area, and there is a very high potential that it could change and shift direction. And you never want to be on the wrong side of the market, right? So what is divergence? Like I mentioned before, the MACDs for me, which is these red dots on the bottom, they are, to me, my favorite. They're like my religion. I wouldn't even understand what I'm looking at if I'm only looking at the price action. I always have to have them both together. And when there is divergence happening with the MACDs, that is showing me that there is starting to be weakness in the trend that I've been watching. Because if there is continuation with both areas, right? If there's moving in the same direction, then the strength is there. However, once the divergence between these pivots and these pivots are happening, it's telling me, you know what? There's a slowdown, and I don't want to be anywhere near the market where there is some sort of a slowdown and it's the high probability of it changing direction or not going anywhere at all. Do you really want to be on that side of the market? No, it's an edge. You always want to have that edge. You want to be at least 80 to 85% of being on the right side of the market. And when I see divergence, and then if I see divergence with reversal patterns, forget it. I'm nowhere near there. This is a perfect example. Here's a double bottom, and look at that massive divergence of the MACDs, right? It's telling me, don't get in. Don't get in, because this could be a change in direction. This could be a shift, and you don't want to be on the wrong side of the market when it happens. Okay, divergences, they happen, and they are fantastic. And if you understand how to read them, it will really, really help you save yourselves and stay out of bad trades. But also, when you're seeing these beginnings of these double bottoms or the triple bottoms or double tops, triple tops, what is that really telling you? It's the beginning of an area. It's the beginning of a support or resistance area. It's the beginning of a consolidation. This is how it begins, right? Everything has a beginning to it, and this is our beginning. Okay, as you can see here, triple top, but look at that, it becomes stronger, it becomes a four top, there's massive divergence, eventually completely changes direction. And that's how you start to recognize those areas from the beginning. This isn't like a strategy, this is not a software I'm selling you, this is the basics. And actually this can be applied to any single market you are trading. Forex, crypto, options, futures, equities, it doesn't matter, the charts all speak the same. And you have to be able to listen to it. And you also have to be strong enough to hear it and know that this is when I sit out. And yes, maybe in the beginning, it feels like sitting out is a really difficult action to make because you should be getting in and out of trades all the time. But that's totally wrong. That's a story that people are saying. A lot of traders believe it. No, the real action, staying out, is probably takes out more energy than getting into the bad trades, right? Again, you're asking when is the best entry for divergence. It's like asking a surgeon when, okay, so here I'm looking at the knee, where am I going to enter? And the surgeon's like, but wait, we first have to analyze to see if the cartilage is in the right place, if the muscle, it's not just one off, because if that's one off, guess what? Everybody will be able to do it, right? And that's really not where we want to go. It's a process. It's understanding elements. So when I'm seeing this, right now I'm staying out. However, when I'm seeing the MACDs totally shift direction, head out, that's when I'm starting to look for my entries. All right, let's put this all together. Like I said, this is not like anything complicated. It's actually really simple. And when you start to say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to read them and really listen to divergences, to those reversal patterns, to understanding when the market is trending, when the market is in a sideways area, I guarantee your entire trading game will be completely up leveled. And this does not cost any extra in the software as long as you have a platform. Because if you don't have a platform, and if you're using, like Google or Yahoo Finance charts, sorry, I can't help you with that. You do have to get a really good platform. And every good trader, it's like, when you're learning to play the piano, there's only so much you could borrow from your neighbor, right? You got to eventually get yourself either a keyboard or a piano, right? Okay, so remember, everything I just went through, guys, I have it here for you for free, the cheat sheet. I call it makingofadaytrader.com. You can get everything that I've shown you here. And I really, really love chatting with traders and really helping people. You can contact me at thetraderchick.com or thetraderchick@gmail.com and go from here. All right. Resistance divergence must be confirmed by the MACDs. So no, yes, well, you can use the RSI, absolutely. It really will depend on the other indicator that you're using. Guys, stay away from any indicators. Honestly, all they do for you is get you into analysis paralysis. Do you really want to go there? No, you don't. You want to simplify it and you want to keep it simple. But what's really important is to back test and to understand that the trades that you are starting to notice, don't go into them live. First, back test them, see. And I'm not talking about your day trading day. I'm talking about the specific setups. I have very specific setups. I'm going to show you a couple right now that I have back tested. And I'm not sure if you guys know what back testing is. I am a huge advocate of back testing. So I'm going to just explain to you a quick way for you to really understand what back testing is. Okay, hang on before I do. Let me just see. Okay, so what do I trade? I trade the ES Mini futures. I don't trade anything else. I only that one instrument, which is the ES Mini, which is the S&P 500 index on the futures market. So let me explain to you guys what backtesting is, because if you're going to get anything out of my entire presentation besides understanding the language, is you're going to learn to backtest. And that's probably the most important thing that I could teach you. What is backtesting? So I personally, and unfortunately, I've had over 9 different surgeries happen to me. And 3 of them were laparoscopy surgeries. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of laparoscopy. Basically, it's a non-invasive surgery. So I had a gallbladder. I was diagnosed with, I had to remove my gallbladder, whatever. It was like 20 years ago. And at that point, it was a revolutionary thing, laparoscopy, because the other way was the old-fashioned way, which was to leave me with a scar of 6 inches, and I had to be in bed between 3 to 5 months for recovery. The laparoscopy, which is this non-invasive surgery, literally leaves you these teensy tiny little, I think they're smaller than a millimeter incisions, and they were able to take out my gallbladder. Literally within a day I was walking, within 3 weeks I was completely recovered. Now imagine somebody, a surgeon or a researcher said, you know what, I think we could do these operations as a laparoscopy. Now, do you really think the next day they came up with that idea, they went and did it on a live patient? No, They back tested. They back tested. They first did it on cadavers. They tested it. They checked it out. That's what back testing is, guys. It amazes me every single day and actually infuriates me when I hear traders say to me, you know what? I saw this. This looks like a good trade, and boom, they're in the live market losing their money, and they never even tested it. I'm like, yeah, and then they come crying. Oh my God, I just lost all this money. It's horrible. I can't even believe people go through that. So basically, that's what back testing is. You need to have back testing. You need to understand what back testing is. And when you're starting to spot a good trade, you back test it. You first do it in the sim market. Okay. Now, here's a couple of my trades, and I'm going to show you guys. One of them is a breakout, which we all know breakouts. They are probably the highest probability trades. They're awesome. I do two different kinds of breakouts, but the reality is, if I don't have my support and resistance areas drawn in, I'll never be able to them. How will you know it happens if you're not putting in those areas? So this is a perfect breakout. As you can see here, I am in a pretty strong resistance area, and then I have this massive breakout. So I want to go into and do a little bit of a layman's explanation of a breakout. Do I promote sim account trading? Richard, imagine you want to be a pilot, and all of a sudden you tell your family, but you've watched a couple of videos, you've sat behind a cockpit, you tell your family, let's get in this plane and I'm going to take you flying. That is, first of all, suicide mission. Secondly, would you ever do that to your family? When you're live trading without testing any of your trades, you are taking your family's money into the world and you're losing it. Why would you do that to yourself? I know I'm being extreme, but I'm not. I know how hard I work for my money. And if I'm taking it without testing it out and just throwing it at the market gets enough donations. If you want to be donating your money to the market all the time, don't. Backtest and sim. And I will say it again and again, please, guys, sim trade. Yes, it is as important as that money, as being a pilot. You would never get into a plane with somebody who's never sim practiced. You would never get in under a knife with a surgeon if they've never tried that out with anyone else before. It is just as important. Anyone could enter trading, unfortunately, and donate money to the market. Why do you want to give your money away? All right. So what is a breakout trade? Imagine you guys get into your car and you want to go and visit your friend that lives north of you, right? You get in the car and you're confident, you're driving. Well, that's the beginning of that trend, right? You're driving, you're confident, but all of a sudden there's a construction that's happening in the road and they're taking you to a detour. You have to go east, you have to go to the right. Now, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I get into a detour situation, I'm in stress mode because I don't know where I'm at. I'm doubting if they're going to continue with those detour signs. They might take those signs away altogether. What if I get lost? So now I am not in a place of confidence. Do I want to be taking trades during that time? No, that's your consolidation area, right? Because what happens is you're sitting there, you're like, are they even going to open it up again? There might be a hole in the ground. I might not be able to go. Are they going to open the road up, or do I have to go back home, right? You're in an indecision area. But all of a sudden, the construction worker is there. All right, guys, you're all clear. And you're back on the highway that you are very familiar with. And boom, you're going. That's the breakout. You're back in that confidence. You've got that renewed energy. And boom, you're taking it straight. That's what breakouts are. Okay, so breakouts to me also are showing, look how flat the MACDs are, massive divergences, and boom, there's a breakout in my MACDs. There's strength in that market. Okay, this is what they look like. Okay, you have to know when those breakouts happen. But if you haven't put in your support and resistance areas, how are you going to know? You're going to be missing out on what most traders find to be the most highest probability trades of all. Okay, so here it is. Look, I have my area, my resistance area drawn in. I have massive divergences happening, and then all of a sudden, blasting through, and I am massive movement from my zero line all the way up. This is showing me massive strength in the market, no divergences, boom. I am looking to enter my trades right here. Now, I use my 3 EMA lines for one, understanding which side of the market I'm in. For instance, my solid line, whenever I see anything over it and here over the zero line, I know that I am in an uptrend. However, if it's down, I know that I have shifted and the direction is shifted. When I am flat like this, I'm not going anywhere. And if it's between these areas, that means there's absolutely no strength at all. I use my EMA line like an archer uses for when they throw their bow, their arrow from their bow. Have you guys know who archers are? Imagine an archer just walking around aimlessly on a field and starts throwing their arrow. No way. They would never do that. They have a very specific place they take that shot from, and they also have a target, that bullseye, right? It's amazing to me that traders are like, oh my God, I see a long candlestick. That's a strong candlestick. I'm getting in. What does that even mean? What does that mean? I could see many strong candlesticks, but they could go nowhere. No, I need to have that understanding. So if it finally breaks through, massive movement between my MACDs, massive movement here, I'm going to be order waiting for that entry. Now, order waiting, another really important thing. If you guys are going in market order for your day trades, you're not trading. You're going in for the long-term investments, and that's one thing. But if you're going for your mini quick day trades, you're going to be facing a lot of slippage, and it's also amateurish, because you need to know where you are taking your trades from. Because if you're just like, oh my God, that looks great, and get in, guess what? It's not going to be sustainable. You're not going to be able to continue making those trades. Okay, so you have to have a place where you take your trades from. And my prices are from my EMA lines after I have that confirmation from my MACDs. All right, another bonus trade. I call this the initial reaction trade setup. Now, I am already knowing when my consolidation is here because I've already been following massive consolidation, massive divergence. I have my resistance area happening. Again, I don't know if the market is going to go up or down. I am prepared for either one. But when it finally shifts and gives me this massive movement, guess what? I am ready. My order waiting is ready to enter this short. And that's what it is. It's this initial boom, that initial hit, that initial movement to my EMA lines. And that's when I know when to get into those particular trades. All right, guys, remember everything I just went over, makingofadaytrader.com. You could get everything I did. And again, you're totally welcome to write to me, email me, ask me your questions. Absolutely. All right, so if there's no more questions, I am gonna now take it to the live market. Oops. Hang on a moment here. All right, can you guys see my chart? Oh, hang on a second. My chart is stuck. I can't open my chart for some reason. Okay, hang on a second, guys. I don't know why my chart is not working. Oh no. I don't understand what's happening here. Okay, I can't, my chart is completely stuck. I don't know why that is. Huh. All right, it's not responding. So in the meantime, I can answer your questions. Okay, how many trades do I typically take per day, per week? So I trade the ES Mini. If I reload the chart, it might take a long time, guys. So let's see. I will do that. Actually, my charts are entirely stuck. Oh my God, they were working beautifully before I got on. I made sure of that. Let me see if I can close it. Oh no, sorry about that. Yeah, it's not at all. I can't do anything. So, all right. Anyways, in the meantime, I will gladly answer all of your questions. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not sure why it's doing that. No, it's about my charts. They're completely jammed. Yeah, I can't do anything right now. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Anyways, I'll answer all your questions for now because I could certainly do all of that. Okay, anyway, how many trades do I normally take per day per week? So the E-minis, which is what I have here, hang on. Okay, so I trade the ES mini. This is an ES chart. You can see it right here. It says ES. I use a 610 tick chart. So I use the E-minis, and because I am a scalper, I only look for 1 point. So 1 point in the futures market per one contract is $50. Each point has 4 ticks, which is $12.50, right? So that's the least you could lose, and it's the least you could earn. So I normally go for 1 point. I usually go in with about 10 contract load. Okay, so my trades usually last between 1 to 3 minutes as well. Okay, so this is right here is my 3 EMA lines. I use the 20 EMA line, the 52 EMA line, and the 135 EMA line. These are all periods. So my 20 is obviously my shorter period, my 52 is my main one, and my 135 is my larger unit, right? So this is my EMA line, my ES mini chart. And because I am really 100% going for such quick profits, I could only mentally do about an hour and a half. And that is the reality. Because look at it like this. Day trading is very similar to being an athlete. It's the reality, right? For instance, Kobe Bryant, let's say Michael Jordan, Michael Phelps, whatever. Could you imagine them being at their absolute best game, their absolute high performance for more than 2 hours? And these are the top of the top. Not really. When you're day trading, your money is on the line and you have to be 100% here, especially if you're a scalper and going for those smaller profits. It is such a high intensity, high performance activity that after about an hour and a half, I'm spent. I cannot personally continue more. I get into emotional trading, and that's when I start to really lose. Every single trade you take, I don't care if it's a winner or if it's a loser, you will exert energy, and that's good. But you only have so much energy. So I personally only trade about 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on the market, right? Normally I take between 1 to 3 trades. Normally I don't like to do over that because I know that my emotional, I'm depleted emotionally, even if I've won all of those. I'm just tired. And but why would I want to do more? Don't get greedy, guys. Greed is a huge reason why people are saying it destroys so many traders. Don't get greedy. Enjoy what you get, right? Okay, can you tell us about what EMAs? Oh, sorry, I already answered that. What do you use to trigger your entry? So, Alan, I use my MACDs and I use my EMA lines. Unfortunately, I am not able to do anything at all unless I completely reboot my computer, and then I'll lose all of you guys, and I don't want to do that because the majority of my presentation is, like I mentioned, is all right here. Hang on a second here. Here we go. So everything that I was teaching you guys today, I have right here offered as well for you guys. So I also have a live trade chat room that I do have weekly, and that is a great place for you guys to actually see me being in the live market with all my students. You could email me and find out all about that. How do you set it up in Ninjatrader? All right, that's pretty simple. If you have Ninjatrader, I can't do anything with my Ninjatrader right now. I'm sorry, I can't, unfortunately. However, it's pretty easy. You go into the indicators section. I can't. Yeah, it's not working. Anyways, you just go into your, do you have Ninjatrader? Ramash, do you have Ninjatrader? Because it's how you would set up your indicators. Do you know how to set up your indicators in NinjaTrader? You know what? Unfortunately, because I'm not able to show much with my NinjaTrader, and the only way for me to do right now is to totally restart my computer. You could email me, and I'll be happy to help you guys with all of that as well. Oops, hang on a moment here. How do I use my, yeah, I've been using my task manager. It's not working. I don't know what happened. My computer is just completely, it's not, I can't do anything. But let me see, my task manager, yeah. You know what? I traded with a Mac for 4 years. Ninjatrader doesn't, I prefer using my Ninjatrader here. Yeah. Now I'm stuck here. Yeah. All right. Sorry, guys. Control Alt Delete. No, it took me to a place to completely log me out of my computer. I just did that. It didn't. I don't wanna lose you guys there at all. So, yeah. Okay. I'm kind of scared of computers. So the reality is this: my computer went through some massive updates. I don't know about where you guys live. Living in Guatemala, we are on severe lockdown, and I live in Antigua, which is a pretty small town. And there's absolutely, we can't even move between departments. So I can't get myself a brand new computer. I wanted to do it through having it sent through the US, but customs is taking advantage, and Jaime would know about the corruption in these countries. They're taking advantage and taxing people more than the actual product is worth. And sometimes you don't even get it. So I'm stuck with this computer right now, which, I mean, I love it, but I'm ready for a new one. So I'm kind of ready for my the lockdown to end so I can fly again and buy a new computer. Okay, so any reason why I use a 610 chart? Yes. The reason why is I don't like volume. I don't like indicators. Volume is just another indicator which lags. It's not real time. 610 here. I know that my NinjaTrader isn't working, but you guys can see right here, it says ticks remaining. That means per bar, I get 610 ticks, which is 610 transactions that are happening in the moment in real time, right? So if it's moving fast, I know there's volatility, but if it's painfully slow and I can literally see each tick, I don't want to be in that market, because that's the market where there's going to be a lot more indecision, a lot less professionals, right? And that's what I want to be. I want to be where there's a volatile market. So 610, I started using 610 when I started learning, but then I've just perfected it to my own strategy and to be able to understand it. So that's why I use it all the time now. Yeah, imagine I was in a live trade, Alan. That would suck. But you know what? I wouldn't. I think it's because I have several softwares open, even though I closed all my other my stuff. Maybe the Go meeting is a little bit heavy on my computer, so I wouldn't be doing that, right? When I trade, I only have that open. All right, guys. So again, I'm really sorry that I'm not able to show how I trade and the live, how I use the live, but like I mentioned before, I do have a live trade chat room. You can email me and find out more about that. And everything that I went over with you guys right now, makingofadaytrader.com. It's free. You can totally get it. And if you have any questions at all, right now is a great time to ask. Obviously, I'm here live with you, but again, you could totally email me at thetraderchick@gmail.com. And I really, really, really am excited to have spent this time with you guys and work with you. And thank you. It's been a really fun presentation. And thank you, Anna, so much for the invite as well. So again, any questions, guys? Right now is the time to go for it. I think, oh, hang on a moment. Let me see if there's any more questions. Oh, there's lots that I did not see. Hang on a second here. Oh, hang on. I did not see. All right, let's see here. Do you recognize any indicators as a leading indicator? So I use my price action, my EMA line, and my MACDs together. They are like one indicator. For instance, if like some of my students like to send me their charts and they forget to put in their MACDs asking if it was a good entry, I'll be like, sorry, I have no idea. You're showing me in the middle of a sentence. It's like, you know, when your child comes up to you and they're like, Mama, do you know what this word means? And that word could literally have like 4 different meanings. It's so, you need the context. So for me, the context is putting them all together. At times they are not very, yeah, the taskbar in my case was not very user friendly. Can you please show the way you would use the MACDs for your trading? So it's the divergence, Ramesh. Let me see if I can show you here. Oh, you know what? My entire computer is stuck. I don't even know if you guys are hearing me anymore, to be honest with you. What is happening? Oh, wait, here we go. So Ramesh, here, let me show you how. Okay, so do you see here the pivots of my MACDs and the pivots here? There's divergences happening, right? Here, let me show you. So divergences. When I see them together with divergences, excuse me, that's when I know that something is changing. And then I want to see massive move through my 0 line, through my MACDs, and through my red EMA line to give me the confirmation that the market is now changing direction. Richard, do you use tick charts? I don't use time charts at all. I only use the tick chart. I only use the 610 chart. I only use one chart. Only one chart. This way I could go anywhere I want to go. 610 just moving down a MACD bar. Sorry, I'm not understanding that question. What is the tick for the NQ? I don't use the NQ. I only trade the ES minis. So that will be up to you guys because I like to focus on one instrument. When you guys can master that one instrument, you're able to continue in doing others. I know a lot of people like to go in and trade multiple instruments. I do not recommend that. My MACDs, okay, 4 bars on 233, Reg. I don't understand what you mean by that. Maybe if you could give me a little bit more. My MACDs look different than normal. No, so the MACDs normally have 3 different things. They have the average, they have the difference, and then they actually have the MACD. I have made the difference and the average transparent. I'm all about simplifying. I cannot be with all those lines that will literally put me into analysis paralysis. Not something that I want to do. Do you take students to your live trade session? Yes, I do. Absolutely. Ramesh, you're able, please contact me and we could talk more about that. Absolutely. Very good. Oh, thank you very much. I don't know your name. It says Trader for the clear explanations. Do you use more than one time frame? Richard, I use 610 and no other time frames. I do not want to at all be like I mentioned, analysis paralysis. I'm going to mention that again because that is a very, very common thing for people. I don't know if, especially, because traders, a lot, especially aspiring traders, believe that they need to have multiple monitors and all these flashing lights. I don't know if any of you guys, one second. I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched this show. It was called The King of Queens. It's a really funny show. Years ago. Anyway, so the main character, the King of Queens, bought this, I don't know, like 90-inch TV, and he invited all his buddies, and he also at the same time bought, like, I think DirecTV, and they were all sitting in this TV room, and he was flipping channels like 100 times, and one of his friends is like, stop that because you're going to trigger my epilepsy. And honestly, like, I feel like that whenever people are like, oh, do you use this indicator, this monitor, how many? No, I use one time frame, and the indicators that you're seeing, that is right there in front of you, I don't use them at all because I was getting that analysis paralysis and my mind was really going to be triggered into an epilepsy seizure. Okay, what kind of risk reward do you use? Everything is 1-to-1. I go in for 1 point and my risk is 1 point, but my trades are insanely conservative. And at this point, they're between 85 and more % because I have back tested gazillions of time and years. So that's what you really have to look for is the probability. The probability. You never want to be in a coin toss. At 50-50, you're in a coin toss. All right, Richard, are any of the indicators you use considered as leading indicator? I think I answered that one already, right? Yes, I did. What is difference? MACD and chart going in different direction? I'm not understanding what you mean about that. The NQ is a beast. They're all beasts, but they could be tamed beasts if you know how to work with them, right? They seem to be going in the same direction. The chart you show me. What was? Yes, that is about my MACDs. No, it's 12.26.9. Sorry, I can't open up my indicator right now since my Ninja chart is completely stuck. So it's 12.26.9. Richard, what do you consider as a reasonable success ratio to validate your trading system? 85% and more, guys. If you're not getting an 85%, then it's kind of almost a toss, right? Do you really want to be in anything less than that? It's really hard. So right this instant has pulled back 2.5. I can't, Rich, I'm sorry, I can't see what is happening in the live market. I don't like to also pay attention to people saying or like reading stuff. You got to be in the live market, guys. You got to look at your charts. If you're not looking, if you are reading or listening or something like that, you're not trading. You are guessing. You need to be in there completely 100%. Absolutely, I use my stop loss, Pierre. Absolutely. It's like getting into a car. It's like a Formula One driver without their seatbelt and all their safety. Are you kidding me? What, they have like, I think there's a 25% chance of them dying pretty much every time they get in the car, right? Guess what? They are protected. Where's your stop loss? That's your protection. Think of yourself as a Formula One driver. All right, guys, if there's no more questions, I will be saying thank you very, very much for joining me. And again, I'm super sorry about my Ninjatrader not working. And again, you could totally contact me. Please contact me, everybody, if you have any questions. And remember, making of a day trader.com, and you can get the pretty much everything that I went over today. So please let me know if you have any questions. And thank you, everybody. Yes, this should be recorded. Thank you so much, everybody.